Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival, and we've got my buddy Jeff with me here today, and we're just going to be talking a little bit about whether or not you should consider moving from the city out into the country in 2018 or 2019 or whatever. Man.
Hey, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
There's like a delay.
Oh, okay. That sucks.
Your voice is correct, but so what I got to do is listen to you and not watch you, because it's like a B-rated dub over Japan movie, you know, like one of the old karate movies.
That sucks. It's probably because I got a terrible internet connection out here, so we just have to do the best we can, I guess.
There you go. You answered your own question about moving to the country.
Yeah, no, I mean that is one downside to it, you know. I mean, more rural areas, you got to deal with that kind of stuff. So, hey everybody who was in the chat, thank you guys for joining us. If you want to put any questions in, or if you want any comments that you want me to read or whatever, try to stick it in all caps or something like that, or bold it or something along those lines, and that will help me to pick it out of the chat. So I really had just kind of 7 things to talk about on it, 7 kind of points about making the decision to move. But Jeff, you told me the other day that you might be considering moving sometime soon.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. Of course, I live by a real big metro, and if you're thinking in the world situation, there's it's bad. I see all those people as potential victims, so I can take their stuff, but some people see them as people that might come out here to take mine, and I might run out of bullets before they run out of people. So in that case, the country is more inviting.
So seriously though, what's the idea for you on why you want to move? I mean, is it just about getting to the country, or getting away from all the city, or I mean, what's the primary reason for that?
Well, I mean, mainly taxes. Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on here, but your video is going in and out here. Let me see if I can't change something to make it better.
That's cool. While you're doing that, I'll cover the first point I had, and that was that
taxes and
large. Oh, go ahead.
Is that better? Can you see me?
Nope. I see a little blue man. There you go.
Yeah, there you are. There you are. Yep. Taxes in the I don't sound like overbearing regulation, but I live in a place where theoretically you can't leave your trash cans out if it's not trash day, or you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I certainly can't. I think it's against the rules for my kids to shoot a bow in the backyard. As crazy as that sounds.
Really.
So. I mean, I got a big backyard, and I think I could get away with it. But if somebody saw them, they'd send the cops out here or some stuff like that. It's just not worth it at the end of the day.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, and you got a lot more freedom as far as doing any kind of thing, any improvements to your house. And if you want to fly the American flag,
Yeah.
You'll have your homeowners associations to deal with and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Let's see. I saw somebody here said something. Clayton Boyd, he says, I live in a state capital. I know it's a target. How many miles should I be from ground zero? So Clayton, if you're talking literally about nuclear bombs and all that kind of thing, I actually just did a video on that this morning. And you can go to a website called nuclearsecrecy.com, and that will allow you to do a simulation on an explosion and see just how far outside of town you would need to be if there was a direct hit there. And that's kind of a cool website to play around with a little bit. You can change the prevailing winds and see where the fallout's going to go, and all that kind of stuff. So I'd recommend taking a look at that. Taking a look at that video if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about in general, for me, I think that you want to live, I don't know, in a town that's smaller, 50,000, the smaller you can get, the better probably. But you want it big enough that you can still have the services and all that kind of stuff and that you need. Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever stuff you need to operate your homestead and all that. But yet far enough outside of town that people can't readily walk to your property or walk out that far. That it's a considerable distance outside on the edge of town. I think what Jack Spirko recommends is he's kind of like right on the urban rural fringe is the best place to operate a small farm or a small homestead because of the access to clients and people who are going to purchase your eggs or purchase your rabbit, whatever the case may be. Because if you're too rural, then you might have difficulties generating income from your homestead, if that's what that makes sense. Am I making sense, Jeff?
Yes and no. I mean, if I'm worried about it, and if I'm worried about, this is why I can't get in these chats, man. Because if I'm worried about end of the world, there's a nuclear strike somewhere, the world has collapsed, and I'm not going to worry about selling my eggs to barter with you over something. I'm going to take your stuff. I'm going to live wherever the Amish live because it's close to the Amish. If you got some Amish, maybe some Mennonites, but really true Amish, I want to be the farm next to them because they are probably going to be able to continue. They're probably not going to take my stuff too much. And, that's where I'm going to be.
They also don't own weapons, though.
They might have no shotgun. That's okay. Then I can defeat them easier. You know what I mean? I can defeat them easier.
No, but and that's a good point, though. I mean, if you're purely worried about end of the world type disasters, then yeah, you probably want to be as rural as possible. Up there in what I think James Wesley Rawls called the American Redoubt, the area of Montana, Idaho, and what was it? Part of Washington, maybe a little bit.
Somewhere. Yeah. I think it was out there, southeastern Washington.
Yeah. That kind of area is going to be pretty good for that. And you really just want to stay as far away from pretty much everybody as you can, But I think the majority of people aren't really in that situation. I think a lot of people, majority of preppers anyway, that watch my channel are probably mostly with disasters and, kind of things that happen, not so much the total end of the world kind of stuff, but the just trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient, trying to live in a place that's going to be a little more insulated from some of the big disasters if there was an economic collapse or something along those lines. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the one problem with going out to that American West, as you know, you live out there now. You've done a lot of time out there. The only thing I don't like about going out there is those people, them old cowboys and stuff. They got guns. They know how to shoot. They ride horses and such, and they might take your stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't want to go where people have capabilities to take my stuff.
Well,
I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Then you want to live in New York City.
Well, it might be too many because I don't have that many bullets. I'm thinking East St. Louis or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, really, I mean, you said you're looking at the Ozarks, and that's
that's God's country. Northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. Yeah. I mean, you got to
where Pastor Joe Fox is from that area. He's got
who that is.
Viking preparedness.
Oh,
you've seen that one?
No, I don't watch this kind of. You're the only guy I know on this sort. You're the only person I watch on this sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool. Hey, Joe, where do you live? I see Joe Carver says living very near JJ. I'm in Cheyenne. I don't know. Let's see if Joe says where he's from. No, I don't know if he's hearing me.
I don't know. There's all kinds of names, but you got Johnny Rambo in here again. Wasn't he on here last time?
Oh yeah, John Rambo. Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's up there in Washington, wandering around, right? They never caught him, did they? They never caught him, did they?
I don't think so.
No, you got to bet a good supply of body bags. That's right. He gives that warning. See that? It'd be hard to take a trained soldier stuff.
Yeah.
I like it.
So one of the other things I was going to talk about was that a lot of people get into this mindset of, well, I can't leave. I got a job. I can't move. Um, it's not really possible for me to do this right now. And I was just going to point out that, on average, I mean, people have 7 different careers on average throughout their lifetime. So, changing careers is not something that is unheard of. And right now, with, the unemployment numbers being at almost record lows, and the workforce participation rate being, pretty high and stuff like that, it's probably easier to get a job now while the economy is good than it would be, if another Obama took
Democrat
office.
gets in. Democrat gets in. I don't know. I hate to say that because I remember a time when Democrats went to church and owned guns. So that dates me, So
that's true. Yeah. My grandfather, he was a Kennedy Democrat, and I'm sure he would never agree with all the stuff that is going on in the Democratic Party nowadays. But
I was thinking of Robert E. Lee Democrats, but that's okay. Kennedy's a little newer. That's okay.
Yeah, Kennedy would be a Republican nowadays. He wouldn't be allowed in the party.
Yeah.
What about cost of living? I mean, cost of living is another factor that really, like, I didn't realize how much money I was spending when I was living out, in DC, just on driving, to pay for the tolls and getting, going to get dinner and stuff like that. I mean, we can go, when we would go into DC and eat dinner, it would be over $100, for each time we go out.
Yeah.
And we can go out here for under $50 and still go to like Texas Roadhouse, get a steak, margarita and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the cost of living is just so much lower in
rural
areas, that you could take a job that makes $20,000 or $30,000 less a year and still be able to make it and be able to recoup that savings, I think.
Sure. I know whenever I leave the city here and I drive down to the Ozarks, my gas is 30 to 35 cents a gallon cheaper down there. I mean, that's just one thing that I notice every time.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot cheaper, especially those folks that are out on the West Coast and California and all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, and I think this brings up another good point. City Prepping did a video the other day he's got a YouTube channel that's pretty successful, and he gets asked all the time, why do you stay in California? Because he's out in Southern California, and he says for him it's a decision because of family, because he's got family that lives around the area and he values that and wants to be close to them.
I love California. I
think that totally makes sense. Yeah, it's a great place to visit. I wouldn't personally ever want to live there, but it is a beautiful, part of the country.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I got a question here.
Yeah. So the other thing, one of the other factors is just lower stress.
My little one was out there. He's surviving on Xbox right now. He had a question. Yeah.
One of the other things is just lower stress too. That's like for my wife. I know that was one of the reasons she wanted to move out here to Cheyenne, was just not to have to worry about terror attacks and all that kind of nonsense that goes with living in DC and all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
I mean, it's definitely a more stress-free lifestyle, I think.
Well, you can have a garden and raise a cow if you had to, or a hog, and at least survive. You're not going to do that in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Bumblebee Junction? Thanks for making it. Yeah, it's I don't know. I find that I don't really have any stress in my life now that I can think of. I mean, nothing significant anyway. Making a tractor payment. That's about it. That's about it.
I don't have a tractor. Let's see, if you bought a team of mules from the Amish, you would have a tractor payment.
There you go. That's right.
So, you know what I mean? Or at least some draft horses. That's right.
True. So, let me show you. I wanted to show you a toy that I got here recently. So,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Where'd you get
so
that sight on there?
yeah, it's an ATN Excite 2,
Yeah.
and which I still got it sighted in. I've got it mounted, but I haven't got it sighted in. And then this stock is from some folks. I gotta look at the name of it. I can't remember what the name of the company is. It's basically, though, it has a battery. I didn't have any literature in the thing. I'll have to look it up. But they contacted me, and it has a battery, like a 15,000 milliamp battery built into the stock. And so I can use that to power the ATN.
Yeah.
Than the
bunch?
battery. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I mean, with all of it on there, it's pretty heavy.
Right.
But it's kind of a good combination, because the ATN, they have like a battery pack that you can strap on the side of your butt plate or whatever, but it's kind of loose and jingling. Sure. So this one, what it does is, I'll just show you here, and they've 3D printed these things. So
there you go, man.
And it's got the little
and
all that stuff in there. So it's kind of cool. I thought it was kind of neat.
So how much power does that sight use then, that you have to have something like that?
Dude, it uses a lot of power.
Now, is it got its own infrared light source on the side, or is that just a regular flashlight?
Yeah, it's got its infrared light source here.
Is it infrared?
Yeah. And,
does it work pretty good?
It works okay. I need to get it out there and actually spend some time with it. I mean, just kind of holding it and shouldering it and looking around it. I'm not extremely impressed with the refresh rate, because it's essentially a night camera, is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy with it. I mean, it was about, I don't remember, $550 or $600, something like that, right around when they were doing some Black Friday pricing or something. But
now, is it because the reason why you're not impressed with it is because you've used better?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of, because I mean, I've,
yeah, I know what you're saying, and that's what I was, what I'm thinking, right?
What's that?
I mean, I've used some pretty good stuff, so I can't imagine buying.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
yeah,
I'd probably compare it to like a Gen 2 night vision device. It's not quite like Gen 3, like the PVS, anything like that, but it's okay, So, but yeah, I'll be doing a review on that before too long. I don't know. I need to, like I said, I need to get to the range and get it sighted in and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll be able to, do some better stuff with it.
Well, yeah, that's because,
Somebody says I need to test it in the mud. I'm like, oh, I don't think I need to test it in the mud. Finger Lakes Prepper, yeah, it is a little grainy. It's the grain isn't really that bad. What it is it's the refresh rate when you move. So if once you hold in and you settle in to where you're holding still, then it does pretty good. But any kind of movement at all, it really makes the screen kind of jump or whatnot. And a lot of the reviews I've watched, you'll notice that people basically only hold it perfect when they're getting ready to shoot an animal, and that's the footage that you see, and it looks pretty good. But when you're actually moving and trying to shoot with it and stuff, it's kind of wonky. The other thing about it is the screen that you're looking at is so bright, it totally destroys your night vision. I mean, it just.
You mean when you put your eye in there, it's that bright?
Yeah, when you put your eye up to the scope, man, I mean, it's a bright screen, and I've even tried to dim it down some, and it's right. So, there's some challenges with it, but the thing is I wanted to have some capability. I've got a Bushnell monocular for night vision that I personally own, but other than that, it's just this, and so I just wanted to have some capability to be able to shoot coyotes and stuff like that, or badgers or something if they come out to the property or whatever. And so I think this is a pretty good option. One other downside, and I don't mean to be down on it too much because I'll talk about all the better stuff in the video. But um, uh, it's a 3 by 12, if I remember right. They have like 3 by 12 and a 5 by 14, I think. And the 3 power, it seems like it's about a 6 power to me. I mean, it really seems like it brings stuff up closer than what a 3 power scope does, because I have a 3 power ACOG on my duty rifle, and it doesn't magnify stuff nearly as much as this does, even when it's when I've zoomed it all the way in. So I mean, there's some challenges with it, but I think it'll work for the most part anyway. Yeah, John Rambo. They've got their the ATN Thor, which is a thermal, and I think you're right. I think it's about $1,800. I just didn't have that kind of cash sitting around, so I couldn't go with that option. But that's what it is. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that.
I like it. It looks cool anyway. And nowadays, I know with marketing, that's half the battle, right? If you put that out there and then you vlog it or blog it or whatever you guys do, Facebook it, they sell 1,000 or 1,000,000 of them, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's got an ability to connect to your phone, so you can make some adjustments via your phone, and you can record, the stuff on your phone, and it's got GPS, so you can put coordinates. Like if you're hunting, you'll know exactly where you were. It's got a range finder. It has what else?
Built in the rangefinder. Does it work very good?
So it's not a laser rangefinder. It's based off of sizes.
And known
distances and different things like that. But it's also got like a ballistics calculator for your shot trajectories and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So this is a good question for you, Jeff. Bumblebee Junction says, any thoughts on the ghost guns from 80% lowers?
It's a ton of work, man.
Yeah,
it's a by God ton of work.
So I have one around here somewhere. I was going to look see if I can find it, but it was from a company a long time ago that ended up getting shut down because they were making it where it was black plastic, and then white plastic was, you just had to take out all the white and it would be done. And I still haven't even done it. I just
those polymer, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, if I was going to do one, I'd do a polymer, the plastic one, because that's aluminum one, it is an absolute. I got a short video that I did. I mean, I got a successions of videos. Obviously, they're not posted because I don't post videos. I might send you JJ and you can kind of see or whatever. Me and my brother did one, and it was more work than.
Your camera's off.
No, how do I turn it back on?
Just click up top of the screen, and you should see a little button that says "Turn camera off or on." You kind of put your mouse
button on. What's got a button on it?
There you go.
There. Well, it's because my daughter was trying to call me and all this other stuff. So I think when
so tell me about the 80% lower.
It was a lot of work. My old man, probably a lot like your audience, an old Vietnam era veteran, has decided he was going to make some. So he bought the El Cheapo 80% kit, and then he thought it was El Cheapo. So then he bought a real nice one. I mean, a nice. I don't know. When I go through my videos or my pictures, I'll get them out. I'll be able to tell you the brand names. But so he gave me the cheap one, and I got it in my garage. But all he wanted me to do was mill out the other one for him. When I say nice one, it
was like a billet
outline. The template is what the difference is. Like in the real nice one, the template is steel, and it's nice. Where the other one almost looks like a straightened soda can. Like if you jack around too much with the bit, you're going to mess the outline up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was now, and of course, part of the problem is I did it on the weekend. My little brother got married, so we were stressed for time, and but it was a lot of work, not drilling the holes, but when you mill that out where your trigger control group and stuff goes, it was just an absolute ton of work. Now in the end, when I say ton of work, 4 or 5 hours. Now he had a nice new drill press. He had it's anything we needed, he got for us, but it was just more work than I thought it was going to be. because in the videos or online when they sell them to you, they act like, oh, you just go home and do this, do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
hanging. Get your Dremel out.
Well, yeah, with the Dremel, we did use real tools, but what was I going to say? Now, if you had a duplicating lathe, or if you had a true lathe or CNC duplicate or something, it would be very easy. But when you're using those little cutters they give you in either a Dremel or a drill press, it is a lot of work. And to save $40 or $50 or whatever it is, you know, because that's what the strip lower's down. He wanted it because, you know, he's one of these. If the government ever picks him up, he doesn't have one. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I just, you know,
I think that's the draw to most people is that you know it's not on any government anything anywhere. You don't have
to go bury in the backyard and lie to the cops. I don't understand.
Yeah,
actually, you don't even lie to the cops. You exercise your Fourth Amendment right or Fifth?
Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
Yeah. Fourth is seizure, right? And fifth is silent. Yeah. But anyway, and you don't say nothing.
A lot of people think that the government keeps the NICS records and all that kind of stuff, but they don't. That's all purged. So, you know, I mean, really, just because you do a NICS check doesn't really have anything. But if you are going to do Bumblebee, if you are going to do one, then I would say,
JJ, you need a moderator. I like that. You know, it's hard for me to look down at my screen because these conversations that your audience has got are so good. They are absolutely so good. I wish I had the ability. I wish I had the ability to have an online radio show and let these people call in.
I don't even know how to do a moderator. So Bumblebee, if you know, you can tell me. I don't even know. Manage. Oh, here, hold on. Manage moderators. Let me try to see if I can do this real quick. Paste moderators channel URL. I don't know your URL. See if I can find it. I'm trying to find his URL and I'll do it. Oh, add moderator. There.
That's how you have to do it?
Now you're added. So there you go. You're added, bud. I don't know what that means or what.
Who's added? I'm added, or who's added?
No, Bumblebee.
They are. Bumblebee's added.
Yeah. So I don't know what you do, but go ahead and do it, man. Give it a shot.
Well, they're wanting to block Cindy because she's talking about.
She's talking about weed or something, smoking weed.
No, well, she didn't want people drinking either. She got mad about you drinking a margarita.
Oh yeah,
but you didn't say you did. Maybe you bought it for your wife.
I drink margaritas though. I do. So you can.
There you go. Well, you are kind of feminine. That's okay. You're getting that Obama administration. You know,
hey, if it don't got an umbrella, you know, then I'm not drinking it.
You know, that's okay. They didn't knock her off, did they? That adds flavor to the conversation.
That's funny. A little bit. We're looking at your note.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to watch that conversation. These people
We're looking at your note.
Huh?
Oh, that's too funny. So anyway, let's talk about the other reasons to continue moving. We last one we talked about before we got up on a bunny trail was lowering stress. Another one for me was a better quality, kind of more consistent with conservative values and stuff like that. That was a big one for me anyway. Moving to Cheyenne, we're homeschooling now, and so we have pretty much oversight on everything. Learn about all the talks and all that kind of stuff. You know, I like that personally. I mean, I don't know. Did education come into it at all for you?
No, mine are right there in the public school. Mine's an immersion. I got Spanish immersion. You know, they got Somalis there. You know what? I need them to know that because
no, I'm saying
I don't listen to me. I don't want the first time that they get exposed to that sort of stuff, you know, potential adversaries to be when they're 20 and never seen it. You know what I mean? My kids are getting indoctrinated early and often.
No, I'm saying,
you know what I mean? You keep your, hey, don't you remember? You know what they say. You know what they say over, you know where they say over there. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's right. You knew where I was going with that, didn't you? Your camera keeps flipping off. Yeah.
Mine does?
Maybe it's me. My thing keeps going blank.
Oh,
but that having the kids at home all the time, it just stressed me out. So I couldn't do it.
You know, it's easy for me because I'm at work all day.
Do what?
So Stacy, Stacy's
That's
just to
right.
stay home.
Well,
It's easy for
here you go.
she does all the hard lifting in that. She's actually the, she's the one that.
Sure. I don't work outside the home, so I don't want them to be here.
The other thing is just being a little bit more self-reliant, having a more self-reliant lifestyle, having the ability, like you said, to raise a pig or a cow or some goats or something like that, and having the kids be able to see, the cycle of life and, things being born and dying and slow, all that kind of jazz. I think that's kind of important too.
Well, sure.
I don't know. I'm just letting you comment, just letting you jump in there.
Well, I'm too busy reading all this stuff. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna minimize it because I don't need to know what these people are saying because
if anybody has any questions, Bumblebee, if you can just let me know, then I will try to answer them. Or if they've got any comments or anything like that, then just see, because I'm. Okay. So Bumblebee says, "Will your step garden be ready for spring?" So I think that it will be. The basic foundation of it all is in. The only thing I need to do now is I need to cover it so that all the topsoil doesn't blow away. There's so much dang wind here, so I'm gonna have some mulch. I gotta put some mulch over it still yet this winter, and I'd like to, before I do that, I'd like to pull in a little bit of compost, but I think it'll be good to go. The only problem that I got to figure out, and I think that I need to get some grow lights, and so that I can start the plants earlier, because we have such a cold, short growing season here, that you got to start them off. You got to start everything off early, and and basically can't take it outside for a lot of stuff until like May. So to end up getting a crop of like tomatoes and stuff like that, you really need to start it all early. So worked out for that. I've got a house that I think I can put some grow stuff, as long as my weed or something.
right.
But yeah, so hopefully it'll be ready to go. I mean, I plan on doing some videos on that, once it comes around and all that. So we'll see. But a pop-up greenhouse. Oh, to say it would have to be put up in the barn because they would blow away. That's the problem. I mean, like I got a weather station not long ago, and I watched the weather, and we routinely get 60 to 70 mile an hour winds up here. I mean, it's just ridiculous at how much wind we get. I was just going to look and see what it is right now, but so yeah, I'd like to build an actual greenhouse structure. One that's actually got a foundation and all that, but it's just going to take some time. So yeah, like the high today was 37 and a half, and it was a pretty nice day.
Oh man, that'd be nice.
Yeah. it's windy. I mean, I need to get a windmill is what I need to get, one of them power generator windmill things, because it's just always going. But
you think those do very good?
Out here they would. I mean, a lot of people have them. They had a program probably 12 years ago or so around here in Cheyenne, and the state would match funds, so you could get one installed for like $12,000, and then it's grid tied though. It goes back into the grid. They don't allow you to, on those programs, they don't allow you to do it off the grid. If I was going to do one, I'd want to do it off grid personally. Sure.
Like all them white ones out here in Iowa and places off the grid.
Yeah. I don't know. So what we're going to talk about. The only other note I had on should you move in 2018 is a safer environment for raising children. I mean, the crime out here, you can count the number of murders in Cheyenne on one hand or less usually. Usually it's like 2, 3, something like that.
Right.
How many murders a year do you guys get in Minnesota, Minneapolis?
Oh, murders by the police or murders by normal people? In the metro? No, it's not that bad. Maybe 40, 50.
Really?
Yeah, not that much, really.
I figured that mollies go missing each year probably.
I'm sorry.
Disappear. There's probably that you never hear from again.
Yeah, well, they got people that freeze. This is kind of weather. They freeze to death and they won't find them until the spring, or they go to sleep. Something happens to them now and they get covered up with snow. They'll be snowed. I know this sounds nuts. They'll be covered over until the spring.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but
all right, you guys got any questions for us? Anybody else want to talk about anything? Trying to let me go back in the chat here and just see if I miss anything, because I can't. I get too distracted if I look at it too much. But it's cool. Like, it's kind of funny because when I first looked at the assignment out here, I was thinking Wyoming. I'm thinking like, Grand Tetons and Yellowstone and all that. And Cheyenne is nothing like that. I mean, Cheyenne is basically an extension of western Nebraska, which is just rolling grasslands, and it's pretty and open, and you get amazing sunsets and sunrises and all that kind of stuff, but there's no damn trees out here. I mean, that's honestly like, I was thinking about having this be like our forever home, but I don't know if I would want to have this be like
I'm just doing a live chat thing. See,
forever kind of location, because
can't you plant some around there? Your perimeter and stuff?
If God can't get them to grow, I'm not going to be able to.
Well, I don't know. I guess if you want to go all the way to the top there you go.
You can, but the thing is that the soil composition, the amount of water, all that kind of stuff, they don't naturally, grow very easily.
Can't you get a bunch of round bales and just put around your perimeter?
Yeah, I was just thinking more for firewood purposes and for like long term.
Oh, yeah. That's why you need some buffaloes.
Yeah.
The Tonkas. Yeah. You can pick up the buffalo chips. Yeah.
But that's the only downside to living in this kind of environment and like a long-term grid down kind of thing, is that the sustainability during the wintertime is pretty bad. You'd have to travel to be able to go cut trees,
right?
Without gasoline and all that things, that would be difficult. So I don't know. I'm thinking finding one other place after this one. I'll probably live here for 4 or 5 years and then look at some other potential location probably. But
sure,
that would be the last move we ever make, because I'm tired of moving. I'm really tired of it. Be a chia pet farmer. That's actually funny.
I've seen that. They're popular up here in town. I never heard of them until a couple of years ago. I seen some people spend a bunch of money on them. But
yeah, Mississippi, that wouldn't be bad. I got a buddy who lives down in Mississippi. Jeff doesn't have a channel. I don't
have a channel. I don't have nothing.
I've been on him for years to get a channel started, and he didn't have one. Everybody
I don't have a channel.
Whipped up wire BW. I think everyone in China is armed. That's an actual true statement, probably, because we were voted the highest per capita of firearms per person.
Because everybody's got more than one.
Yeah, I think it was
everybody's got 5 or 6. Yeah.
It was a bunch, but
I can't believe they were that honest. So whatever they said, you got to double. It's like asking some chick what she weighs. You got to take 20% off.
Well, when you look at the next closest state wasn't even really close to Wyoming. I mean, Wyoming, it was like by far and away had the most firearms per citizen. So they do have a lot.
Yeah, if I'd have got that 400 million Powerball last week, I'd have bought me a place out there.
Would you?
To visit. I wouldn't live, but I'd visit there periodically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I don't know if you guys. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything you want to talk about? You got anything you want to talk about, Jeff?
I don't know. What's the poor guy need advice for people in wheelchairs? Where to live?
I don't know. I didn't see it. What did it say?
I don't know. So he's needing to go Clayton Boyd. Any advice for people in wheelchairs?
Wyoming's probably not going to be invaded anytime soon, I don't think.
Well, they can't get there. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes you all day to get across South Dakota or Colorado just to get there. You know what I mean? They can't.
We could see them half a state away. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, just to get there, the opposing force better have some gas, or they ain't going to get
really,
there.
stand up miles a mile in pretty much every direction. I can see almost a mile, like 270 degrees around my house. So
Right.
you know, I need to get a bigger long range gun just for fun. But yeah, whipped up by wire. He says an interesting place to hold up might be Vita Vu. The problem with that is
The who?
Vita Vu. It's the name of a road in Medicine Bow National Forest, just west of Cheyenne. The problem with that area is everybody and their brother goes there to go camping and stuff like that. So you can guarantee if there's any kind of problem or anything like that in the city, that that place is going to be jam packed. But you can go to the other part of Medicine Bow, which is kind of southwest of Laramie, and that is actually pretty remote and pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool areas out there. So yeah, that's where I would probably head to if I was having to go somewhere. But honestly, it might be better to try to get like further south into Kansas or somewhere where the environment's possible. Because in the summertime it's fine here. But wintertime, it's up in the mountains. Dude, you can't live out there. I don't care how hard you are. It ain't gonna happen because I mean it's just ridiculous. So my boy and I went out a couple times last winter just to go do some hiking and stuff. It's really cold and windy, and I mean it's just bad news. But all right.
Uh-oh. There you go. They had to do it. They had to say it, didn't they? They had to say it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, speaking of that, the Plains Indians. You've been in Custer Battlefield, haven't you?
No,
Custer Battlefield.
But it's over in South Dakota.
No, it's in Montana, barely in Montana. Just go south of Billings, north of what is it, Buffalo, Wyoming. Okay. Anyway, that's where they knocked off Custer. Now, the rumor is, and I read it in a book, and I'm trying to remember what book it was, that band of the Sioux, the Lakota Sioux that he fought there, I think that was in July, so they were already back there in the summer. But you know where they spent their winters at? You know where when he first started engaging them, like 2.5 years earlier, 3 years earlier, on their winter grounds. You know where their winter grounds were?
Where
Fort Sill, Oklahoma is now. It's named, Fort Sill's named at Sill after some guy that worked for Custer that got killed. And so even the Plains Indians didn't stay there in the wintertime. You know what I mean? They went from Wyoming and Montana to Oklahoma in the winter, and then in the spring, they just like geese, I guess, migrated back.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally believe it, because you see out in western Nebraska, northern Colorado, and in the Cheyenne, southeast part of Wyoming, there are tons of old homesteads and stuff that were built out here that have just been abandoned. I mean, just because I think probably just because it's such a hostile, harsh environment. I mean, because when you're out there just on the open plain with nothing to block the wind and the snow and all that kind of stuff, man, it's rough. I mean, it's really rough. So I wouldn't doubt it at all. I mean, that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I think what was it? Didn't you tell me a study, or who told me the study that like Tennessee or Kentucky was supposed to be, if the world collapsed climate-wise and food and water-wise, Tennessee or Kentucky or somewhere down there was.
Yeah, Tennessee. There's a section of Tennessee that essentially has very low disasters. They get tornadoes. They don't really get earthquakes. They don't, they're far enough from the New Madrid Fault. They don't really get a lot of forest fires. Different things like that, where it's kind of like sort of a safe zone, if you so to speak, that statistically speaking is kind of a good place to live. and I think it was a little bit west of the Smoky Mountains. It's not quite over on the Smoky side. It's a little bit more towards the middle of the state, and the winters aren't terribly bad, and just kind of a good combination, supposedly. I don't know.
Sure.
But I think the Ozarks would be good. The only thing with the Ozarks is the soil's not that great. In the Ozarks, you're just going to have to find a good place that has, good soil, so you can grow.
Well, how much stuff are you going to grow? I ain't going to be a farmer.
You're not going to be.
I can put some tomatoes in a 5-gallon bucket. I can put some tomatoes in a 5-gallon bucket, and there you go. You know what I mean? Old bathtub or two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else. We've gone almost an hour. You got anything you want to chat about?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm just too busy reading about all the winters in Wyoming and the blizzards and the pistols. I mean, you guys go from 50 calibers to pistols. Well, I can see they were having a debate about Glocks versus M&Ps. Well, if somebody's got the 50 caliber they put in that blog, the M&P ain't going to help them much. So I guess it just depends on who your op for is,
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then somebody even put howitzer in there. Didn't you see howitzer was up on that whole thing a while ago? So
no, I didn't see that.
I mean, they don't really have them anymore.
Autumn Oaks Farm says north of I-70 in Missouri.
I seen that. What's wrong with south of I-70? The weather's a little better.
Yeah, I mean, I lived. It's funny. I lived north of I-70, but we went to school south of I-70. We lived right on.
There you go.
In Green Valley, where I'm from. But
I grew up south of 70, and I mean, it didn't bother me. I didn't even know about it.
You didn't know I-70. You didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, what the heck? I didn't know it until yeah, that's right. Until the Cardinals and the Royals played that World Series in about
1985. You remember who the MVP was?
George Brett is the only Royal I could think of, and it wasn't him.
This is literally the only piece of sports trivia that I know.
Hey, and I don't want to one-up you, but I got something to add at the end of this. Go ahead.
Is Brett? Huh? He was the youngest. I believe he was the youngest person to ever be awarded MVP in the World Series.
Who was it?
Brett Saberhagen, pitcher.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's literally the only piece of sports trivia I know.
There you go. Here in Europe, we hide knives on U.S. from the government. Who's that? Who's Mike the Swedish Turnip? No, don't do pistols here. Europe, we hide knives on us from the government. Now that to me looks like a honeypot there. That's somebody that's using technology to ask him what part of government he's in. No,
sounds like
it's homesteader. Somebody's homestead. No, Bumblebee Junction's a homesteader too.
There's guns. Like I just saw a video today. Finland, they have a lot of guns there. Austria.
They're wanting? Oh, they got a lot of guns.
Yeah, Switzerland, Finland.
France has got a lot of guns. Spain's got a lot of guns. Germany's got a lot of guns.
I don't think France does.
Oh, France! I've been in all kinds of gun shops in France. Are you kidding me?
For the citizens?
Yeah. You just walk around in the Beretta. Yeah, just walk right in the Beretta store in Paris. Heck yes.
I thought they were socialists.
I think you got to. Well, yeah, but hell, how you gonna shoot the capitalists if you ain't got a gun?
That's true.
Now I don't know what the permit system to get it is.
Yeah, it's probably pretty hard. I think they export pretty much everything that is made in Italy.
You go into the, not necessarily the Holland, but you go into the Beretta store in London, they have all, for all intents and purposes, Beretta, A400s and 391s and Benellis, but they're plugged.
Sports shooting is about the only thing you can do in London.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can buy an automatic there, but they still only hold 2 rounds. It's like a double barrel. It's got like a solid aluminum plug thing. So you get an automatic, but you only get 2 shells. That's the craziest thing you ever heard.
Oh my God, that's absurd.
So if you only get 2 shells, you might as well shoot the double barrel.
Yeah. Might as well. I mean, what's the difference? It shoots as fast as you can pull the trigger anyway. So.
They don't use Molotov cocktails as preferred do. I doubt if the Molotov cocktails expensive gases over there. I doubt if they can even afford them.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody's down here in the cave and the spelunkers. They're down there, and that's a cave dweller. Somebody south of Memphis. That's a great place. Got some barbecue down there. If the world doesn't completely collapse. Somebody's got guns off base. Well, there you go.
Oh, he's Automox Farms. He's saying as a U.S. Air Force member, you couldn't have guns off
Right.
base. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a very strict, and I really think it's about clay shooting. They do like the PTAS.
They got to belong to a club, and a lot of them got to stay at the club. There's some crazy rules. Maybe we should reach out to somebody and just listen to them. Yeah, I got some friends over there. I could probably reach out to them. Do what?
No, that's how it was in Barbados. So I was going to get assigned down at the embassy in Barbados. That was I was looking at having to find a place to transfer my guns and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't get that assignment.
Well, it'd be nice just wintertime, I guarantee you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Well,
where's it all going? Yeah. That's prepping for apartment dwellers. Now that's a good question right there, because if you're an apartment dweller, you don't have to prep nothing. You just got to have a willingness to take what's not yours. I'd just be reconning those other people and what they got. I'd put a little camera out there and see who goes to the store and what they bring in and figure out where they live. That way, when a flash comes, you know where to find it. Did you see that? Somebody wanted some prepper from apartment dwellers, and then I'd get something big to put across my door.
I did a video on apartment.
Yeah. You want me to do a video on it? You did a video on it?
I did a video on it. Yeah, on like it was like 10 tips for or something like that. But yeah, I would love to see you do some videos, man. I think they'd. Awesome.
Mike the Swedish says you can't even carry a knife there. Well, you would need a knife if you carry a baseball bat. You know?
Do what?
And it don't take much of a baseball bat. You know? My kids got this one I got from when we were in Omaha. We was playing Little League. It's a little video like a Little League aluminum bat. I'd jack you up. You know, when I was in, I never told you this, JJ, but I can't see. You can see me the first or second time. I don't think it was the third or fourth time, but the first or second time I was in college, I wrote a paper. It was right about the Rodney King deal, and you remember the PR-24 was the thing. You know, that black Lexan PR-24. Remember what they were?
No.
It was that because they outlawed them after Rodney King and cops. It was that cool black.
Yeah, like a nightstick. Yeah.
Yes, and I wrote a paper that said that cops should be issued baseball bats. Because, you know, when you'd pull that black thing out there, they obviously didn't respect what it was because they didn't know what it was. But when you pull out a Louisville Slugger, and I had a little caption in my paper, whether you're in an apartment complex in New Jersey or a trailer park in Alabama, everybody knows from a young age what a baseball bat is. So if the police just simply pulled out a baseball bat at the call, the people would treat them completely different. It would be instant. They told me I was racist. I mean, this is pre-racist. I mean, this is back in the late 80s, early 90s when you could still kind of say some crazy shit. They didn't like it. But it's true. A baseball bat is about as good as anything.
What'd you get on that
besides
paper?
The 12 gauge. Oh, they flunked me out. That's why I said it was my first or second time in college. I graduated the fourth time, I think. The fourth time. Something like that. I don't remember. Yeah. There's been so many times, you know. Whatever.
I'd be a doctor twice over for the amount of time I've spent in school.
Yeah, and for what? Hey, so you get to run a podcast in your basement.
Exactly.
I like it. Yeah. Hey, you know, on the side note, I don't know if I should just pitch this. I wrote some low budget film and stuff, and I got these guys. We're in a pre-development thing of a deal that starts out. Some of it I need to tell you off camera. So call me tomorrow. Okay, but
yeah, let's call me tomorrow.
It's about these conspiracy nuts that talk on podcasts and chat rooms, just like we're kind of doing here. You know what I mean? And certain ones start disappearing. They're getting wrapped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people believe that. People think that the writer of Gray State got killed.
Who is it? Yeah. So who is it? Who's taking them? And that's where the movie idea is going. And I think it might turn into a mini series or a fucking YouTube channel or some cheap stuff like that. But when you get to thinking about it, you know, you're putting yourself out there. Everybody out here, they got cool nicknames. I might have a cool nickname next week. Maybe it might be too late. Maybe I can get a cool nickname by next week. Bumblebee's
Yeah.
taken. I'm going to be Wasp. I'm going to be Mud Dauber. Is Mud Dauber taken? Can I change it?
Wait, what did you? I think Bumblebee Junction just sent me $5 for opening bid on
That's the opening bid on the Tread on Me. Like, hey,
flag.
tell him for 100 you'll sign it. You'll autograph it.
It'd be worth
You'll autograph
it. You know, thank you. Last time, I think he sent me something before. I have no idea how to get to that money. I have no idea where it goes.
Hey, how come Whipped Up Wire says reason to run? I'm surrounded by mobile parks. What's wrong with a mobile home park?
That's I mean, it's attractant for tornadoes. That's really the biggest problem with living there.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I grew up in a single wide 12 by 65 mobile home.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. Show enough, sir, for the opening bid. I would actually mail that out to somebody if I could get.
Yeah.
If it was worthwhile to cover the postage and the cost of a new one. I need to get a flagpole out front and fly one out front, because that way the neighbors would probably all stop by and welcome me to the neighbor.
Well, you know, I looked at a piece of property that didn't have a rebel flag, big old Confederate flag. I'm sorry, not a Confederate flag, actually a rebel flag, the Confederate battle flag. And my kids, they just couldn't believe that they were just, flying the stars and bars right there. And across the street from it, in a very, just an absolutely beautiful $400,000 all brick house, you know, where down back where me and you grew up, and it didn't look like it.
$400,000. $400,000 in the Ozarks is a mansion, dude.
That's what I'm saying. These were affluent. This was an affluent neighborhood, and they didn't have a problem with it. They didn't have a problem with it. So you know, there you go.
No, Bumblebee, you're probably right. They probably do stick that in with the AdSense earnings. I don't know. They probably do. I remember you and somebody else did it last time. I don't know, Finger Lakes Prepper or somebody did, and it was probably in the monthly paycheck, whatever. I don't know, but I don't keep too close a track on all that stuff. So, but I do appreciate it. So,
see, now Johnny Rambo down there in God's country, so they're not uncommon there. But I guarantee you, up here where I'm at, the only place you see them is the news when they're making fun of somebody.
What's that? Only place you see what? Oh, the
Confederate battle flag. Yeah, what Confederate battle flag?
Yeah. Now, see, I was torn because, you know, the battle park was south of my high school, so I don't know if I'm from the north or the south. I was a border state.
Well,
you were really in the south down where you were at.
Well, yeah, well, I was from Little Dixie. So when Missouri was a border state until the Republicans took over in 1863, 64, and they finally went to the north the final year of the war when they realized the north was going to win. And then if you take from Callaway County, Audrain, Boone, Cooper, Howard, all the way over to Lexington, which Lexington is right on the river north of where you're from.
Lexington County, there was a lot of.
Yeah, so they actually that if you Google up, it's on Wikipedia. You'll see Little Dixie area, and they seceded from the state of Missouri. So every year down in Mocaine, Missouri, they still have a Kingdom of Callaway. Basically, the county fair. They got a little sliver of county fair down there to celebrate their secession from by gosh the state of Missouri. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
What?
Did you just not hear me? Google it up read Wikipedia. It makes more sense than I do. There's about a 14 county region there. It was planners, you know.
It was going to secede from Missouri.
They did secede from the state of Missouri. Just Google up Little Dixie region of Missouri. Yes. So I didn't know that. So when those guys came from like Tennessee and Kentucky, they went just north of the Missouri River, you know, in what's today's Callaway County, Boone County, Audrain County, Cooper and Howard on the north side of the river, and they had big, basically plantations. There's a lot of them still left. There's a lot of them still left because they weren't really burnt like they were down south. So they had a lot of sympathies for the South, and So Missouri was a border state until the final year when it went to the north, and they seceded from the state of Missouri. Just look it up.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, look it up. I actually did a little sliver of a pilot that I sent to the New York Television Festival, and that's what it was about. It was kind of about that, and I never got anything. Obviously, I didn't win. They didn't, I didn't get a TV show out of the deal.
But more about
because I went to college 4 or 5 different times.
American history. Anybody I know come up with some of the cool.
I told you it's because I went to college 4 or 5 different times. What do you expect? Hey, somebody's got some guerrilla action in Kansas City, Missouri. Now that they're done up there in Ferguson, they're gone. Well, Johnny Rambo said there was a lot of action up there. I said they're done. That Ferguson deal died out. I don't know. He's behind it.
Not G-O-R-I.
Oh. Wrong ones. That's right. Whew, super chat.
How about that? All right. Well, we got to.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with us. We're planning on trying to do this as often as possible on Sunday evenings at 7 until about now.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you guys have anything that you would like to see us talk about, got any particular questions, topics, whatever. I mean, it's kind of just a free flow. We don't really necessarily have anything too pressing or anything like that, but we can talk about whatever. So thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. And also want to take a minute to say thank you for the folks who use the Amazon link, because that really makes a big difference. And the super chats too. Thank you, Bumblebee Junction. But the Amazon link thing helps a lot, because YouTube has progressively demonetized or put.
Hey, tell that one that wants to go to Central or South America, Costa Rica is the place to go.
Autumn Oaks sent me another $5. I got to figure out how to get out of the system now. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Thank you. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, put in the comments if you got anything you'd like to see discussed. Jeff knows all kinds of stuff. He's a virtual
pedantic. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
that dude just got a lot of that useless educational knowledge, book knowledge, I think is what it's called. Yeah, pedantic.
That's a fact.
Tell her not Belize. No Belize. No one believes.
Not Belize? What now? Oh, Costa Rica. Belize is supposed to be. It's kind of like Little America in South America, right? I mean,
yeah, that's why I don't want to be Little America. I want it to be. Mm-hmm.
So
anyway, that's to
my Amazon store, and I've started putting a bunch of stuff in there, stuff that I've reviewed, stuff that I've used, all that kind of stuff. But you don't even have to buy anything in the store. If you just use that link to go into Amazon, whatever you do buy will give us some credit, a couple % or whatever. So it doesn't cost you anything more. It definitely helps us out a lot. So, thank you. What were you saying, Bubba?
I don't know. I'm too busy trying to keep up with all these people. Somebody wants to be the governor of California.
Oh God, no. I'm far more conservative than Reagan, so I don't think that would go over well.
Oh, I'd love to be the governor of California. I love California.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool and all, but I don't think anybody would. I don't think they'd like that much. So. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna
go ahead and click off and call me or something.
Autumn Oaks Farm, and thank you, Bumblebee, for those super chats, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.